Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhatta College, University of Delhi. So as you all are aware that presently we are going through our lecture series, which is Introduction to Programming using C++, and within that series we are actually now we have triggered into object oriented programming paradigm since a few of our lectures. So now today's topic is basically about encapsulation and abstraction. So let's see how it is and what actually these encapsulation and abstraction are. So coming to properties of object oriented programming paradigm, as you all are aware that C++ is a language which is based on object oriented programming paradigm. Here are the properties of that object oriented programming methodology or paradigm. These are encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and along with these four core properties we also have classes and objects. So as far as classes and objects are concerned, we have already seen about details about classes and objects, and today we will be going to drill down through encapsulation and abstraction within this lecture. So now coming to encapsulation, as the name indicates, encapsulation, so that means there is a capsule or there is, we can say, a covering in which some of the elements are being captured, actually we can say. So let us see how it is. Now in case of a C++ program, you are aware that basically we have two type of elements. One is the program statement, which we can say is actually the code through which we are going to perform actions, and more specifically they are known as functions. Another element is program data, which is actually the information or variables, we can say, and these variables or this information or these pieces of information are something which are getting affected by program functions, or which are getting affected through the program functions, or which are getting affected through the code which is written inside the program functions. So two fundamental elements, one is the function, another one is the data member, and this we have seen in our previous lectures as well. Now coming to encapsulation, encapsulation is actually an object oriented programming concept that is going to bind together the data and functions. So this is what I was talking about. That means the data and functions are being binded together inside a capsule or inside a wrapper, I can say. Now these functions are something which are there to manipulate the data, and why these data and functions are wrapped around inside a particular cover, because we want to keep these data and functions safe from outside interference or misuse. That means we don't want any unauthorized component of the program to come and access the particular data for which it is not being authorized. So this is what you called encapsulation or wrapping up of data and function inside a wrapper, we can say, and what actually that wrapper is, I am coming to that also. So data encapsulation, the importance of data encapsulation is going to give us the flexibility of data hiding, which is available in case of an object oriented programming paradigm and which is not available in an functional paradigm, or we can say which is not available under C. So data encapsulations lead to the important concept of data hiding, and that concept of data hiding is, we can say, is available under object oriented programming paradigm. Now data encapsulation, as I have built the fundamentals, or we can say platform, basically a mechanism of wrapping or bundling the data and the functions which are there to use them. And in C++, this encapsulation can be implemented with the help of class and access modifiers. Now let me explain. the wrapper or the bundle, or we can see the capsule which I was talking about, is actually the class. So your class is having your data members as well as your member functions also, and the access of this members and functions will be provided to whom and till what extent and in which type of circumstances is actually controlled by the access modifiers. And if you remember, let us recall what are the access modifiers which are available. So access modifiers, we have public, protected and private as well. So C++ is going to support the properties of encapsulation and data hiding through the creation of the classes, and this creation of class is nothing, or we can say class is nothing but actually it is a user defined data type. So this concept we have already covered when we started with classes, that what actually classes are. Basically user defined data types, and this is kind of, we can say, implementation of encapsulation and data hiding. Encapsulation in the sense your member functions and data members are bundled up or encapsulated inside this wrapper which is known as class, and which members or what elements of the programs will be able or allowed to access which particular piece of data of any particular class is decided by public, private and protected. So in this way we are able to, we can say we are able to achieve the property of data hiding as well. So a class can contain private, protected and public members, and by default you are aware that all the items in a class are private unless we declare them protected or public. Now how are we going to implement the encapsulation? We are going to implement it using classes and access specifier, that is fine, but how it is implemented? So that process of implementation of encapsulation can be subdivided into two steps. One is your data members should be labeled as private using the private access modifiers. That is one idea through which we can hide the data members from the outside world, and another idea is the member function which manipulates the data members should be labeled as public using the public access specifier. Now what is going to happen? The data members are private and the member functions are public. So whenever we are going to create an object, through that object using the dot operator, we are going to use the member function, or we are going to access the member function, because member function is defined as public, and as the data members are private, only that member function which is declared inside the class will be allowed to access that private data member. So this is the way the data members private and the member functions public. This is a general convention. I am not saying that this is the hard and fast or this is the only rule through which we can implement encapsulations, but this is, we can say, a general convention that data members should be labeled as private using the private access specifier, and the member functions which are there to manipulate the data members should be labeled as public using the public access specifier. Now what are we going to achieve with the help of this public and private access specification? Let's see that with the help of a programming example. Now let's say we are having a class box. So here this class box is actually an capsule under which or inside which your data members, which are length, breadth and height, and one member function which is get volume are closed or encapsulated, we can say. So class box is having some private members which are length, breadth and height, and all of them are of type double, and these members are representing, as the name indicates, length, breadth and height of the particular box. Then coming to the public section, in the public section we have one function which is get volume. That get volume is without any parameters. That means in the parameter list I am saying void, and as far as the data return type of this get volume is concerned, that is defined as double. And what this get volume is doing, this get volume is actually doing nothing. This is taking all the data members which are defined inside this class box, which are length, breadth and height, and the function is actually multiplying these three members, length, breadth and height, three data members, in order to get the volume of the box. And as these are of type double, the return is of type double as well. So it is returning the multiplication of length, breadth and height. And after this, so we have defined three data members and one member function, and then we are closing the class by a curly bracket followed by the semicolon. So class now here is in the form of an capsule containing the data members as well as the member functions both. Now the variables, you can say, are made private. These variables can be accessed and manipulated only using the function present inside the class. So let me recall that we have defined private access specifier, and the members which are private can only be accessed by the members of the class itself. So here the private members which are length, breadth and height are actually allowed to be accessed only by the members defined in the class, and the member defined in the class is nothing but a member function which is get volume. So yes, get volume or any member function which is defined inside the class will be allowed to access the private data members length, breadth and height also. So we can say here the variables and functions are binded together, and this binding of variables and functions together is nothing but the idea of encapsulation. So now till this point you have you are able to understand that what actually data encapsulation is. Now coming to the second property which we are going to cover today of object oriented programming paradigm is data abstraction. So data abstraction is actually a mechanism of exposing only the interfaces and hiding the implementation details from the user. So what does it mean actually? Now for example, most of the people are nowadays are driving cars or any we can say a four-wheeler, a vehicle which is having four wheels. So now what actually that gearbox is doing internally, or how these brakes are applied internally, or how the engine is actually working internally inside the car, a driver actually is not concerned or not bothered about is the actual correct term here. So not bothered about the internal functioning of the car or internal functioning of the we can say parts of the car like engine, brakes and so on and so forth. What are we concerned with as as the person who is driving the car is just the mechanism through which we can control that. For example, we have to have a lever in hand in order to control the gears, or we are pressing the brake, clutch and these things, or we can say a race in order to increase or decrease the speed. That's what we are concerned about, that how to use this brake, clutch, gear and speed thing. We are not actually concerned with the how these are working internally. So basically what is happening here, we can say we are only concerned with the interfaces, this lever of for changing the gears, or the race thing, or we can say the clutch thing, are actually the interfaces through which we are able to interact with the internal mechanism of the car. But what actually the internal mechanism of car is and how that is being implemented, that is actually hidden from us. So, what is being done? Basically, we are being exposed to the interfaces, and the implementation level, inner level details are basically hidden from the user. So, this property is actually known as data abstraction. So, data abstraction we have seen with the help of an real life example of car. So, in object oriented programming paradigm, whenever I am talking about data abstraction, so my data abstraction refers to providing only essential informations about the data to the outside world, while we are hiding the background details or implementation. Now, we have seen with the help of an example that how data abstraction is being achieved or maintained in case of an real life scenario. Coming to the scenario of an object oriented programming, let us say for example, I am taking that example previously which I have taken in case of encapsulation, that is, I am having private members length, breadth and height, and I am having one member function which is able to access that and those data members and returning the volume. Now, what a user is supposed to do in order to get the volume of any box? So, two things required here. One is creation of an object, for example, box B1, and then we will call B1 dot get volume. And then what is happening? So, with that B1 dot get volume, we will be able to get the result of the volume, which is length, breadth and height multiplied together. But the object, or we can say the user, which is calling that get volume function using that object, is actually aware of this length, breadth and height? No, not necessary. It is not at all required for the user to be aware of what is actually happening inside the function. What user is concerned about is just the interface. So, interface here means the signature of the function. That means the function is accepting nothing. That means the parameter list is void and it is returning something, or it is returning the result in the form of a data type which is of the type double. So, the user is concerned with just the name of the function, the parameter list and the result type. User is not at all concerned with what actually is happening inside this function, how this volume is being calculated, or any other inner level details. So, this is what is your abstraction is. It is referring to providing only essential information about the data to the outside world, and this essential information here is nothing but the signature of the, or we can say prototype of the function, while the background details or implementation are being hidden. That means the body of the function is not exposed to the outer world, that is hidden, because that is containing the implementation level details, and implementation level details actually your user is not worried about or need not to worried about, in the similar way as we are not worried about how that engine, gearbox and brake mechanism or race mechanism is working inside the car. We are not concerned with that. We are concerned with only the buttons or only the lever which is there to change the gear. So, we are not concerned with the internal mechanism or internal background details of implementation. We are just concerned with the essential information which is there to use those things, and those essential information are only provided to the outside world, not the whole implementation details. So, this is the way through which, using the property of encapsulation, your data abstraction is being we can say exercised, right. So, now how are we going to access these or how are we going to implement abstraction at different levels? One is abstraction we will be able to implement using access specifier. Access specifier, same thing, your public, private and protected. So using access specifier we can enforce restrictions on class members. For examples, we can say the member declared which are public can be accessed from anywhere in the program, but member which are declared as private will not be allowed to access from anywhere in the program. Only the members of the class will be allowed to access private members of that particular class. So by using the access specifier, whether we want to make it private or whether we want to make it public or protected for that matter, we are using access specifiers to enforce restriction on the members of the class. Then the members declared as private in the class, I have told you that can only be accessed from within the class. They are not allowed to be accessed from any other part of code outside the class. So that is one way using which we are going to achieve the abstraction, and the way is by using access, different access specifiers. Now another idea of abstraction which can be achieved is using header files. Now please remember what is actually happening when we are importing any header file. For example, we are going to use the method sqrt. Sqrt is method to find out the square root, and we just need to access that method sqrt, because that sqrt is already we can say defined inside the header file which is math.h. So what are we going to do in order to use this sqrt? We will say hash include math.h. that means we are just including that math header file inside a program, and wherever we want to use that sqrt, what are we going to write, or what is the way to write? It is, for example, let us say integer x. X is the variable in which I am going to write down, or in which I am going to store the result of the square root function, and I have written x is equals to sqrt, and within the parameter list I have given 100. So this is going to give me the value of x as 10. So now if you can see what is happening here, we have just imported one header file with it, which is math.h, and what are we actually concerned with? We are actually concerned with what type of result it is going to give us in terms of data types. What is the parameter list? So here the parameter list says only one kind of number for which of which you need to calculate, or of which you need to determine the square root. That's all we are concerned with. Are we actually looking into the implementation level details, that how this sqrt function is calculating the square root of 100 or any other number which is being supplied inside the parameter list? Not actually. There are many methods through which sqrt square root can be calculated. So we are actually not at all concerned that which method or what kind of implementation is being used inside this sqrt function. What we are actually interested is just the parameter list and the return type. So basically I can say what are we interested in is just the prototype. So we are interested in the interface only, and the inner level implementation details are actually hidden from us, and that is what the data abstraction is. So one way to achieve the data abstraction is your public, private and protected access specifiers. Another way to achieve your data abstraction is header files also. Now coming to we have covered two concepts, one is encapsulation, another one is abstraction. So let us see vis-a-vis what is the difference between the two. So we can say encapsulation is actually grouping of data and method. Those methods are there to act upon the data. So that grouping together or wrapping up of data and function inside the class, that is known as encapsulation, while the abstraction is actually the dealing with exposing the interface to the user and hiding the details of the implementation. So data hiding, which is we can say is a kind of information hiding, while your abstraction is detailed hiding, which is implementation hiding. So encapsulation is the hiding of, or we can say bundling up of the information, while abstraction is hiding the implementation details. So in encapsulation, data members and member functions are bundled in a wrapper named as class, while data abstractions is about the exposing or is about the showing the interface to the user and hiding the inner level details of the implementation. So in this lecture we have covered the two properties of object oriented programming paradigm, which are encapsulation and data abstraction, and we have seen the difference between the two, and here are some references which are used for preparation of this lecture. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you for a patient hearing.